Hey gang, just before the video begins properly, I just wanted to bring your attention to this, just before everything starts. As I've mentioned a few times, and as it says here, I wanted to do a poll, giving you the chance to vote on whatever the hell I do next. If you don't care about the poll, or don't want to hear it, you can just skip to when the actual video begins. There's a timestamp, I'm sure. But for those that do care about what I do next, you can come onto the post section of my YouTube channel, go to this poll, and vote for whatever the hell is here. League of Legends and Overwatch were in the previous poll, which I'm sure is somewhere down here. Yeah, here it is. This was the previous poll after I finished the Dead by Daylight-a-thon. We had Overwatch, League of Legends, Deadlock, Deadlock 1, and those are obviously all the videos that I've been doing recently. Obviously the same two competitors are here again, give them a second chance. But there's also this other section. Now, how this will work is obviously if League of Legends has the most votes, that'll win. I'll do videos on that. If Overwatch wins, I'll do videos on that. But if someone leaves an other comment, so say someone in the comments goes down and says, do videos on Marvel Rivals, and that comment gets 200 likes, which is 100 more than either of the vote percentages in here, because I'm able to see the exact amount of people that voted on the thing. So say there's more people voting, or more people want to see Marvel Rivals stuff than these two, I'll do Marvel Rivals stuff. And just like the Deadlock-a-thon, these videos will be like taking a character and breaking down and discussing every single aspect of them. So lore, personality, gameplay, design, etc, etc. I just wanted to say that. Poll is up there. I originally, back when I made the first poll, I made a dedicated video. I thought I'd just shove it in here so everyone kind of sees it. But yeah, go vote if you obviously wish to choose what you want to see next. And with that said, now let me get on with the video. Greetings and salutations. My name is OJ as always, and welcome back to what will be the final episode of the Deadlock-a-thon. For those unaware, over the last month and a bit, I have been covering every single character in Valve's not-so-secret hidden game Deadlock. I've been going in-depth on their lore, their personalities, their gameplay, and their designs. And to round out that entire series of breakdown videos, I wish to do what this video is going to be, which is a ranking of all 32 characters in Deadlock back-to-back from worst to best, off of the same criteria in those videos. So I will be ranking characters on their lore, their gameplay, their designs, their personalities, and as well as my own personal opinion. This video is obviously going to be a very personal opinion-esque list, so if your favorite character is lower than say someone else, that's just because that's how I feel about them. And I also won't be considering competitive level play for this ranking. So say like, I don't know, someone like Warden. Warden is very strong in competitive play because his kit's very strong, but I'm not going to be considering how strong a character is into this list. But with those disclaimers out of the way, let us start with number 32 on my list, the worst character in the entire game, or at least my least favourite character in the entire game. That being none other than McGinnis. Now, when I say McGinnis is the worst character in the entire game, I feel like I need to just say that I don't actually think any of the characters in Deadlock are bad. None of these characters are actually straight up bad. McGinnis is just simply the character that I like the least. Lore-wise, she's relatively standard, all things considered. She's I wouldn't say stereotypical, but she's kind of a generic genius character. Has been working on machines ever since she was 4 years old and is now the head of Fairfax's military R&D department, which, I mean, sure, that's nice and dandy and it's whatever, that's relatively simple. I mean, you've always got to have like a genius character in a game, but you know, again, that's kind of a generic thing. It's kind of a standard thing. Personality-wise, she doesn't really get much either. She's a relatively normal character, all things considered, amongst the rather wacky personalities of Deadlock. And although, of course, some may like that and may like the sort of normality in comparison to the wackiness of everyone else, I am not one of those people. If you like McGinnis personality-wise, all the more power to you, but, like, I just don't. I really don't care for her. She's relatively boring to listen to. Like, nothing wrong with like her voice acting. Her voice acting is fine. It's just I think McGinnis is a boring character. I literally feel nothing. I mean, obviously if you want my more in-depth thoughts on a lot of these characters, you can just go watch the dedicated videos if obviously you want to know more specifically about that character. but McGinnis's video is literally titled The Character of All Time, and that's how I feel about her. She exists. Gameplay-wise, she exists. She's relatively boring to play as, at least in my experience. I mean, she can do some cool stuff with, her gun being a minigun and, all of the lovely gun items like ricochet and debuff stuff, and yeah, that's kind of fun. But she's really boring to play as. And in a rare case, her redesign that she got, I don't remember when she got it, but I really don't like her redesign. They took her from this sort of scrappy looking, sort of dirty mechanic to trying to be a weirdly clean looking representation of like the "we can do it" feminist poster. And like, I mean, not to say you can't work like a industrial job without looking good, or whilst looking good, but like, I would have preferred, something on her, like some dirt, not just a completely clean face with makeup on. I feel like it doesn't particularly fit the role as, someone who is almost in a workshop like 24/7. Like no scars maybe from like a workplace accident or something, no dirt, no nothing, like actually nothing at all. I just think that's kind of a missed opportunity, and that's a thing I have with a lot of character designs and a lot of things where they just don't have markings. Like, you'll hear stuff about, oh, this character is a really legendary warrior, and you look at them and they're just like a completely clean looking person, not a single shred of any sort of damage on them, no scars, no nothing. That always annoys me. And I think the same goes for McGinnis, obviously, in the terms of there's no dirt on her face, there's no like maybe an oil slick on her, like everything is just super duper clean, and I really do not like that. So when you add that fact onto how boring I find her personality and her gameplay, yeah, she just so happens to end up at the very bottom. But with that said, and if you wish to learn more, you can obviously watch my dedicated video on it. We move on to number 31. Said character at number 31 is none other than Shiv. Now, Shiv is an interesting case because on the one hand, I think his gameplay is pretty good. I like how kind of everything kind of merges into one another. Every ability kind of benefits another ability in some way, shape or form. I enjoy Shiv's gameplay, but it's like gameplay that I kind of had to get used to, which always kind of annoyed me. Like when I first played as Shiv, because obviously at least most people would, try and play as every single character in the game at least once, right? When I first played as Shiv, I did not get him whatsoever. It took me like 4 or 5 games to really get a hold of what Shiv was trying to do. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, obviously. Trying to learn a character there's nothing wrong with that and all of that. But I don't know, something about that kind of put me off him, and I still think it does. I still think I don't really understand how Shiv works. Might just be a skill issue on my part, but gameplay wise, although he is quite fun, I do kind of still don't fully get him, even after like 10 games as him. I know 10 games don't sound a lot, but when every game's like 40 minutes long, yeah, I'd say that's probably a decent amount of time to get a hold of a character. But why Shiv ends up this low is just kind of a case of, Deadlock being a game in development. You'll notice this a lot. Characters that, have these sections of them that aren't fully fleshed out yet will kind of just end up lower, but that's not like a fault of the character per se. That's more of a fault of the fact that, Deadlock is still in development. It's still actively being worked on. This stuff could get fleshed out at a later date, and what I'm talking about is Shiv's lore and his game and his design. Both of these things could get fleshed out at a later date and become way cooler, and then suddenly Shiv has shot up the ranking. But as he is now, he doesn't have any lore. Like, I'm just going to be honest, his in-game lore literally just says, oh, he's part of the Baxter Society and he kills monsters, and the Baxter Society doesn't really like him. There's like little tidbits here and there about how he might have been a father, or he has a monster inside him called the Beast, but that's not developed in any way, shape or form. I know that's obviously something that they will probably develop at a later date, but like as Shiv is now, he's just a bunch of what ifs, maybes. Like, what is the Beast? We don't know. We're never probably going to know for another year or a bit. What does it mean by Shiv being a father? To who? In what context? We don't know. And it just like, because of that, I'm just like, I don't really care. I mean, obviously it's going to be developed eventually, but I don't know. I don't care currently. He's just not very interesting, like, background-wise. Personality-wise, a lot of his interactions kind of dumbed down to him just being, yeah, I look cool. And I mean, sure you do, Shiv. But here's the thing, I don't really like his design either. I just feel like it's a bit lackluster. It feels like there's something is missing. All he really has to his name is the wooden arm and the haircut, and that's about it. If you move on from that, his design is just nearly a one-to-one with how he looked in Neon Prime, which, for those that don't know, was the sort of futuristic cyberpunky game that Deadlock was gonna be before it turned into Deadlock after, like, I think the reason it changed was because of, like, playtesters not really liking Neon Prime's visual direction, which, shout out to those playtesters, man. You gave us one of, like, the coolest looking games in years. But unfortunately, Shiv is not one of the coolest looking characters in that game. Or in this game. Yeah, you get the idea. Either way, Shiv is a character I just, again, kind of feel nothing for. The gameplay is the only thing probably preventing him from being the bottom spot. Like, he just doesn't do it for me. I don't know what it is, he just does not do it for me. But with that said, let's Let us now move on to number 30. Said spot, it belongs also to another member of the Baxter Society, that being Calico. I do not really like Calico, again, outside of her gameplay. The Shiv and Calico have a bunch of weird similarities. The both of them have very underdeveloped lore, obviously a case of this game being in development. Both of them have designs that I don't particularly enjoy or feel like they're flashed out enough, but they both have gameplay which I think is fun. However, I do think the only reason Calico is above Shiv is because their gameplay is slightly more fun. Like, I love the sort of kind of two ways that she can go down, whether that be like a normal bruiser, like melee damage character, or a spirit bruiser using her 2 and her 1 to do, well, not her 2, or her 1 and, like, you know, spirit items to do a bunch of extra damage. But, like, lore-wise, she's part of the Baxter Society, but she left it to be like a hitman, or yeah, a hit woman, if you want to put it that way. We know that she has a son. She has knowledge about the Deep, the Troubadour, and the Oathkeeper. Like, she just has a bunch of... again, she's kind of a character that just needs fleshing out to really get me interested. Like, why is she a target of Scotland Yard and the OSIC? I don't know. What did she do to do? Like, why has she been called the most dangerous woman on the planet? Because honestly, she's not really proving it. I mean, some of her interactions are kind of fun. Like, she has neat interactions with Viper where she says that she's not very impressed by her, what would you call it? Like, pathetic display, I think she puts it. Like, Calico acts like she is better than everyone at all times, but we don't really have proof of why she would think that. Do we know why she thinks she's so good at what she does? I mean, Viper as well says that she has a reputation of sloppy work due to a hit that went bad. Hit in question being the attempted assassination of Pocket, which didn't, you know, go through. Pocket is quite clearly still alive. So yeah, like, lore-wise, we just need more, and until we get that, she's gonna just sit here at the bottom. And the gameplay-wise, she's good, I'll give her that. And design-wise, I just, again, think she needs fleshing out. It just looks like her design is literally a bunch of kind of flat colours, which kind of puts me off. I don't know, something about it just doesn't click with me like, say, other characters do. But yeah, with all of that said, we now move on to number 29. Said character at number 29 is Holiday. Holiday's a weird one, because on the one hand, lore-wise, I think she's got a lot of places to go. Her entire thing is that she lived in a small kind of country town, and was the sheriff there, and then a thing, or a thing, I want to call it a thing, called the Troubadour came in and started just killing people, and now she is in New York City hunting the Troubadour. We don't really know what the Troubadour is, but here's the thing. Lore-wise, she's relatively okay, she's whatever, but she does have a visual novel in the works. For those unaware, you can find visual novels for Deadlock in the kind of code for it, Lady Geist's probably being the most well-known. Holidays is very much a work in progress, this thing is barely anywhere close to being done, but the fact that she does have a visual novel in the works makes it so that I know that at a later date, Holiday will get fleshed out a lot more. And that obviously gives me hope for me probably ending up more interested in her, because right now I just don't really care. It's something about her personality. Like, lore-wise, she's whatever. She's fine. The intrigue from her lore is mostly the troubadour and not particularly her, which kind of sucks. But look, personality-wise, she's just kind of a, I don't want to say like stereotypical cowboy, or sheriff. Like, she's kind of just, you know, a woman of the law. So she dislikes characters who are outlaws, like Rafe and Yamato. She dislikes people who work in crime. But I mean, sure, you're a sheriff. I get it. It's just whatever. What kind of, like, lore-wise, she seems a little bit interesting, but gameplay-wise is obviously where a few of my issues come from, mostly because I suck at Holiday. I'm going to be completely real with you. I struggle to hit crack shots, I struggle to hit my barrels, and the only thing I can do successfully is hit people with a lasso. That's all I can do. It is a skill issue. The reason Holiday is down here is because it is a skill issue. I can't hit my shots, I can't hit my powder kegs, so I struggle trying to play this character, and I don't particularly enjoy playing as her. Like, lore-wise, interesting. Story, like, personality-wise, whatever. Design-wise, she's a little bit more finished than the last couple characters we discussed. I do quite like Holiday's design. I mean, it is a relatively simple, I wouldn't say bog standard, but a relatively simple sheriff cowgirl look. But it does look, you know, alright. Looks fine. I'm quite fond of her big scarf. But yeah, she's a lot of the characters down here I don't necessarily dislike. I just find either uninteresting, boring, or they haven't been fleshed out enough for me to find them interesting or not boring. And Holiday is, thankfully, one of the ones who is seeking or going to get fleshing out through her, you know, visual novel. But yeah, with all of that said, we now move on to number 28. Now, I mentioned him in the intro, but number 28 is Warden. Now, why is Warden a character with very, very simple gameplay and, you know, a non-existent design this high up, per se? It's mostly because of his lore. I think his lore's really damn interesting. The idea that there is a kind of lineage of people who have been training to kill supernaturals, and then at some point those like trainings and all of those warnings were kind of passed away, and Warden is the recomeuppance of it. His parents literally trained him from birth to be this like super soldier who takes out the supernatural. And judging from how a lot of other characters talk about him, because weirdly enough, Warden doesn't have any interactions with any other characters. Like, you know, when you're on the zip lines at the beginning, characters will talk to one another. Warden doesn't have any, which is kind of criminal. I understand why he doesn't have any, because he's very much a work in progress. But judging from character interactions, how some characters react to killing him, a lot of them find him quite creepy, kind of weird, a bit isolated, and some of them even call him a vigilante. So now I have had this idea in my mind, going as well off of the leaked concept art redesign for him, that he is basically Deadlock's Batman. Like, he just stalks the night and takes out the supernatural one at a time when they least expect it. And I think the idea of Warden being Deadlock Batman is too damn funny, and is actually putting him where he is right now. Because again, as I just mentioned, design-wise, this isn't Warden. Warden is not meant to look like a cop. From the leaked concept art that we have, we know that he's meant to be, you know, like sort of a supernatural hunter. He has this giant, a few characters reference that he has a cape, like the shopkeeper and Abrams, but he, quite clearly, he does not have a cape. There is not a cape on his body right now, so I cannot wait to see what that cape looks like. A lot of people call the cape creepy, which makes me think it's like the dead body of some sort of, you know, supernatural creature. Like, I don't know, maybe he's wearing the skin of the Loch Ness Monster or something, which would be really cool, by the way. And gameplay-wise, Warden is, I mentioned it at the beginning, he is strong, but he is very boring. He is very simple to understand and play as, and I do think he's quite boring, but the enjoyment I get out of it is that he is strong. So he's boring, but strong, and that kind of makes him fun in a way. Like, his kit isn't very fleshed out or very, what's the word? What word am I looking for? I don't know. It's not very interactive, really. You throw a flask, you have a shield, you can stop people from running away, and then you have an ult that will kill everything in your nearby vicinity if they come close to you. Like, the ult is fun, but most of the other times it's just you throwing flasks, chipping away at people till they die. Which, It's strong, considering how overpowered the flask is, but it is a bit boring, let's be honest. But thankfully, the potential man that he is, lore-wise, is kind of keeping him up here. But with all of that said, and again, if you want to see like some of the stuff I talk about, like for example, you know, Warden's leaked redesign, I would heavily suggest that you go watch, you know, his dedicated video, or if you just, again, if you just want to know more about any of the specific characters I talk about in this video. But with that said, we now move on to number 27. Said character at number 27 is none other than the magnificent Sinclair. I'm going to be completely real with you. This character is really held back by just design. Their design just really infuriates me. And I say they because it's two people in one body, that being Henry and Savannah. Like, okay, before I talk about the design, lore-wise, very interesting. The idea of two people who are very much in love with magic, finding love in one another, and getting into so much love that they actually, you know, blood bind their souls together. But then when a stage accident goes wrong, kills them both, they are still stuck together. So they are basically a bickering married couple all the time. Some of their lines together are just a thrill. Like, some of them are just so funny. I mean, is it cool? Is it good to say that, you know, hearing two married people argue with one another be funny? No, not really. It's not funny to say that two married people arguing is a good thing. But the way the voice actors and voice actress kind of deliver their lines makes it very entertaining to listen to. So, like, background-wise, personality-wise, I do like them a lot. I really do like, you know, Sinclair as a couple, but they kind of do suffer from the Warden effect, where they don't have any interactions with any other characters. That sucks, because then we can't really see the personality of each individual person, those being, again, Henry and Savannah. I know why, because obviously you'd have to do, like, multiple voice acting takes of, I know, interactions played through Henry's perspective or Savannah's perspective. I understand that. That's a bit of an annoyance. Gameplay-wise, they're quite fine. I kind of suck at hitting the bolts, so a lot of the time I just default to using the Spectral Assistant to shoot people, which, I mean, that is fun. I enjoy that. They're a fun character to play as. Require a lot of skill to play as well, especially on the bolt part, because, like, if you're good with the vexing bolts, you can just one-shot people. Really, you can just actually obliterate people from any range, and it is very scary. But design-wise, this character falls flat on their face. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I understand the idea, right? The weird puppet-looking thing. I get that. But man, I just really wish there was some way to show, because for those that don't know, whenever you die, you actually switch body controls, if that makes sense. So when you spawn in for the first time, you play as Henry, the male voice, and then when you die and respawn, you play as Savannah, the female voice. I wish there was an indication on the actual character model that showed this. I don't know, an idea I saw someone say is like have the head of Sinclair have like a man's face on one side, a woman's on the other, and have it like spin round every time you die. That's a cool idea. I really enjoy that. But again, this is a, you know, this is a negative of this game being in development. That doesn't exist. This character, design-wise, is not really a design. At least not in my opinion. I don't like their design as it is right now. I mean, come on, man. If you look at their in-game model, they have like the little lined mustache. But then if you look at their portrait, they have like a curled up mustache. Like, even their mustache ain't right from portrait to in-game render. Like, if this character design-wise isn't like a full flat on their face, I don't know what would be. Like, this is the only thing really, to me, holding them back. They are literally just a bundle of potential. As a nice commenter once said underneath my Sinclair video, they are the potential man of Deadlock. But with all of that, said character at number 26 is none other than Yamato. Lore-wise, I am quite fond of Yamato. Funny enough, I only just recently covered her. She was yesterday's video. I like Yamato lore-wise. I like the idea of, you know, someone taking up their brother's not only name, but their appearance after a coup in what I'm gonna probably presume is a Yakuza clan of some kind. I mean, they kind of do seem like the type that would hate being led by a woman. Oh, by a woman. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I played Yakuza Kiwami 2. That entire idea literally happened. They tried to stage a coup and tried to kill, what's her face, Dojima. Well, I know there's a lot of characters with the last name Dojima, but like Miss Dojima, or was it Muz? I don't know. Either way, lore-wise, I do like Yamato. I like the idea of her taking up her brother's name and using like the weird heirloom sword that has his soul in it, or shadow soul in it for some reason. They did not explain that in any way, shape, or form. But again, just a kind of thing that comes with the territory of this game being in development. Things don't get fleshed out like that. I like the idea though. Like, she's the leader of this Japanese crime gang who wants to take over New York in some way, shape, or form. That's a cool idea lore-wise. Personality-wise, she seems to be quite ruthless, like in nature. A lot of characters kind of are quite scared of her, and apparently she killed someone for owing them $100, which a commenter quite nicely pointed out that back in the 1950s, which is vaguely when Deadlock takes place, $100 is a lot. Like, that's a lot. So yeah, now I understand. In that video I was like, well, why $100? Man, that's nothing. No. Back then, it was. So yeah, I can understand why I understand where she is coming from when she killed someone for $100, okay? But, like, personality-wise, she's relatively serious a lot of the time. She mocks a lot of, she's quite antagonistic to a lot of other characters. She mocks them in Japanese, knowing that they can't understand what she's saying, which is a bit cowardly, almost a little bit pathetic. Like, come on, man, if you're gonna diss someone, just say it to their face. I mean, what are they gonna do, fight you back? You seem to be, like, Yamato seems to be quite the powerful character, at least lore wise, so I don't see why she feels the need to kind of not just blatantly say it to people's faces. But design wise, no, hold off on the design. Gameplay wise, Yamato is pretty fun. I'm not very good at Yamato. That's the issue I have with her. Another character where the skill issue part of it kind of knocks them down a peg. I'm not very good at Yamato. I just kind of default to using gun builds because I kind of struggle to use the power slash and aim it correctly. It literally is just a skill issue on my part. I don't know what my problem is really. But yeah, like gameplay wise, she's fine enough. I'm very fond of the shadow form because it is just blatantly overpowered. You literally get every bonus thing in the entire game. Like, you are immune to all status effects, which someone thankfully pointed out that you cannot be affected by parries when in shadow form. So melee Yamato is even stronger than I actually thought it was. But where this character falls flat is, of course, the design. Her design is a relic. It is a relic of the past. This straight up is just her design from Neon Prime. Thankfully, we do have concept art of what she may end up looking like. And man, some of the designs they showed off are just gorgeous. They are so much better than what we have right now. I don't even really consider what Yamato looks like right now to be Yamato, because it straight up isn't. If I remember rightly, the lore behind Yamato's current design was that in Neon Prime there would be an alien woman who became obsessed with Japanese culture, and as a result wanted to dress like a samurai and have, like a katana and stuff, which is why she has, the comically large forehead, which I didn't really actually make a joke out of in her own video, but anyways, hey-ho. With all of that said, let's move on to character 25. Said words, they are really difficult, aren't they? Said character in question being Kelvin. I don't know why Kelvin is really this low, actually. I've tried, boggling my mind. He's probably the character I had the most difficulties putting anywhere on this list, because I just feel relatively neutral about him. I do not dislike him. I do not have anything, lore-wise, he's quite interesting. Went out on an expedition, died, suddenly came back to life, and has this giant rock on his back that seemingly seems to be keeping him, alive. He's basically a walking corpse. That's a cool idea. He seems to have a lot of history with Seven in some way, shape, or form, which is, quite cool. Personality-wise, he's quite boastful, quite flamboyant, very, it kind of reminds me of, those stereotypical old adventurers you'd see, let's go out into the jungle. Yes, I discovered this place, and it had already been discovered, 500 years ago by someone else. That sort of dude. And, I mean, that's kind of a fun personality to have. Gameplay-wise, he's perfectly fine. The ice grenades are very strong. I'm not actually sure why they haven't been nerfed in some way, shape, or form. The frost beam is, fun to use as well. I like how much movement he has with his ice trail. But, I don't know, something about him just doesn't click with me. It might be his design. I like his design, though. That's the thing. His design is just the big parka looks really lovely. Him being very clearly ginger is a weirdly cool thing for him. I don't know. Him being ginger kind of makes him stand out. I don't know. He just looks cool. But that's a very bad pun. I didn't mean to make that pun. But I don't know. He just does everything well. He's kind of like a jack of all trades, master of none. He has decent lore, decent gameplay, a decent design, but he doesn't have like one part of him that really stands out to me. Nothing that would really elevate him any higher than how he currently is, which probably why he gets placed here. I mean, I could probably kind of move him up maybe a few spots, but for now, as is current, I am going to place him at number 25. But with all of that said, the character at 24 is none other than Grey Talon. Now, lore-wise, is kind of like Grey Talon lore-wise is why he ends up this high. He is also another member of the Baxter Society, which I've mentioned a few times, and I feel like if you do not know who they are a monster hunting group who, goes out and stops supernatural monsters from, causing havoc. Grey Talon was one of the founding members, and supposedly like one of the sort of heads of it in a way. Like he appointed Shiv as his like replacement after he ended up leaving. But when he left, he obviously settled down. He spent some time with kids, the wife, and then his wife then his son, his grandkids, as well as his daughter-in-law were all found dead in a freak fire accident. The only issue was that his son's wife was an Ixian who could snuff out flames with the flick of her wrist, so she would have never have died to a fire accident. And now he is on a vengeful hunt for those that killed his, son and grandkids, etc. He does believe it's the Friends of Humanity, who, if you don't know, are a neo-political group who seem to hate anything and everything supernatural and believe that humans are the best to ever do it, and anyone that isn't a human should be shunned and killed, etc., etc. Which is honestly why they probably killed Grey Talon's son and wife, because, well, Grey Talon's son's wife, or his daughter-in-law, was, an Ixian, which for those that don't know are kind of like demons. Abrams and Infernus are Ixians. So, that is probably the reason that his son is dead, because those lot, the Friends of Humanity, are bigots. And I think that it's really cool that he's literally going to, on his vengeful hunt. Gameplay-wise, though, personality-wise, Grey Talon is a very serious character, very tired-sounding all the time. I mean, he's what, 70? Maybe 80? Like, he's seen a lot, and I don't think he really has the patience to deal with some of the more exuberant characters in the game. He's a very serious character, but I like him a lot. Mostly due to Robbie Daymond being the voice of him. He does a very good job. And gameplay-wise, I do quite like Grey Talon as well, mostly because I think that bird is really damn funny. The guided owl is one of the funniest abilities in the entire game, because it's just annoying. You literally throw that thing, and everyone just hears it screech, and then boom, everyone die. It's very fun. I played a game the other day where I just got hit by the owl as I went to go up on the zipline. I was like, you rude ass old man, why are you throwing owls at me? I just know, I like him. I like Grey Talon's gameplay. It's a bit slow, I will admit. Obviously, you're playing from a far distance most of the time, but I do enjoy it. The only thing that's bringing Grey Talon down to a position like this is his design, which is quite blatantly unfinished, and I'm really damn scared for what the redesign is going to be, because it did kind of get leaked, and they removed a lot of his Native American looks, which really upsets me. I think it's really cool that this game has a Native American character, or at least, Native American adjacent character. It's not a group of people that you particularly see portrayed often in video games outside of historical context. Like, for example, they're in, obviously, Red Dead Redemption 2. But that is a game set in the Wild West around the same time when the Native Americans were struggling for reparations and the such. So, in a game that has nothing to do with the history of these, the history of the group of people, it's cool to see someone like this. I really like that he is, for the most part, at least how he is now, a Native American. But it does look like that redesign is going to get changed, and that upsets me. That really does upset me. But yeah, the only reason he's down this low is probably because of his design. But anyways, with all of that said, we now move on to character 23. Said character number 23 is none other than Mirage, who, lore-wise, I am quite fond of. He opens the door to sort of other aspects of the world. Like, for the most part, Deadlock's history and lore, etc., is quite secluded within the confines of New York City. So by having someone like Mirage open us up to like the Jinn from other countries and all of this cool stuff is interesting. And I think the Jinn are interesting. They are like these super powerful characters or super powerful beings that are incapable of maintaining corporeal form for longer than 48 minutes, which is interesting. Like they're these super powered beings that are on a time limit, which, you know, that's cool. And Mirage is the bodyguard of one such of these Jinn, that being Nashala. I like the fact that he's very dedicated to the cause. He's very dedicated to protecting like Nashala at all costs, and they wish to buy a piece of Wyoming to turn into a home for the Jinn, which is kind of funny. And a lot of characters joke about buying a segment of Wyoming. Like, Mirage is like deeply loyal to Nashala and the Jinn, which is a cool, you know, character trait to have. But a lot of why I like Mirage, personality-wise and story-wise, he just is kind of a cool dude. Like, he likes hot dogs for some reason, and he likes to play bowling and calls it the sport of kings. That's kind of funny. I like Mirage. Whenever he's like not talking about, you know, the Jinn and Nashala, he is surprisingly like a neat guy. And a lot of characters kind of have quite a bit of respect to him. Or respect to him? Yeah. Like, they have a lot of respect for him because of his conviction to the Jinn. And, you know, yeah, I've got respect for him as well. He seems like quite a neat guy, quite a cool fella. And I don't really have much more to say besides that, personality-wise. So, gameplay-wise, I also quite like Mirage. I will admit, a lot of his gameplay does come down to shoot person, activate Jinn mark, and chip away at them till they eventually die. But he is a very fun character to play as, at least in my experience. It is very fun, especially early game, to kind of just chip away at people with a mark over and over and over. I saw a commenter say that they just really don't like this stupid old man for marking them a bunch, and that made me giggle, because now, every time I play a game, I just imagine that the person on the other end is that one commenter just getting really annoyed that I just keep marking them over and over. Yeah, he's like fun to play as. I will admit he is a little bit simple. I can see why some people would find him boring. And design-wise, I think he looks pretty good. I like that he's sort of, I don't want to, Arabian man? Maybe Arabian? I don't specifically know, I can't specifically pinpoint the nationality. But I think it's Arabian, and if that is the case, he does look really damn good. And it's good to see representation for, you know, an Arabian character in a video game. Again, not a group of people that I usually particularly see in a lot of video games outside of... no, I don't really see them ever, actually. But yeah, I like Mirage. He's just, and again, a bit similar to like Kelvin, a character that I just like. I don't feel super duper strongly about. He exists. I think his lore, personality, gameplay, design is all very neat. And yeah, he exists. But with that said, we move on to character 22, which is Wraith. Now, Wraith is a kind of interesting character who I, again, don't feel super duper strongly about. You're probably going to notice this with these, like, middle-in placements. Like, lore-wise, I do think Wraith kind of struggles a little. She's kind of a case of we need her to be fleshed out a little bit more. All we really know about her lore-wise is that she is, you know, the cornerstone of the New York gambling scene. Which, I mean, that's neat and all, but are we going to explain why she has telekinesis? Why does she have that? Where does that come from? Anyone want to tell me? Most other characters have their powers explained in some way, shape, or form, but hers just isn't, and that's kind of always kind of annoyed me a little bit. Admittedly, the reason Wraith is probably this high is because of personality. Her personality is very, very fun. I like how quick-witted she is. I like how often she will poke fun at characters who would otherwise not really get made fun of. Like, she is surprisingly back and forth. She surprisingly does back and forths with Lady Geist, who is a character for the most part that other people tend to not particularly mess with. The only character I can really think of that does is like Ivy, who threatens to mug her. But I think that's a case of Ivy not realizing how strong Lady Geist actually is. Wraith, on the other hand, is probably someone in an equal playing field and feels confident enough in herself to, you know, take the piss out of people, which is a fun trait. And gameplay-wise, I also quite like Wraith. I mean, who doesn't like just pressing 3 on your keyboard and just melting everything in your vicinity? Oh, look, there's an Ivy flying across my screen. Like, you just burst her down. Oh, look, there's a walker in front of my face. Dead. Yeah, it's just fun to play as Rake. You just dump magazines into people. The only issue I have with her gameplay is for someone who calls herself and considers herself a degenerate gambler, why does she have no gambling in her actual kit? That was something I forgot to mention in her dedicated video. Why does she not have any form of gambling in her kit? Throwing playing cards does not constitute gambling in her kit. Which, I mean, come on, man. Can we not have something? I don't know, maybe she has a built-in lucky shot or something, where every bullet has a 50-50 chance of doing double damage or half damage. I don't know. We need something gambling-wise. But either way, design-wise, Wraith really shines. I really love her design. Mostly due to the fact that her actual arms are in her pockets at all times, while she lets these weird, magician, wooden arms do all of the actual work. That is a really cool design look. I love the sort of, pinstripe mafia member look she also has going on with the fedora and the, pinstripe jacket slung over her shoulders. She just looks so damn cool all the time because of the hands in the pocket. She's aura farming at all times, and I think it is the coolest thing ever. Her design, literally, if she had a different design, I don't think she would be anywhere clear or anywhere near this spot where she is right now. But obviously, as I said, due to her lack of lore expansion, which again is just an aspect of, the game still being in development. I'm sure it will get expanded at a later date, but as of current, it isn't. And the lack of any gambling in her kit, yeah, she kind of gets pulled back a little bit. If she had, more lore and, gambling in her kit, then she would probably get bumped up to, I don't know, 10 nearly. But for the meantime, she sits here at 22. And now we are going to talk about the person at 21st. Said character being Hayes. Now, lore-wise, Hayes is quite an interesting idea. She is a member of the OSIC, which is the Occult Security and Investigation Commission, which is basically a black box government organization that makes the CIA look transparent. They're kind of like your secret special service, but even more secret than the actual secret special service. And as a member of the Sandman division, Hayes is routinely tasked with infiltrating the dreams of persons of interest. She's basically Freddy Krueger, but government-fied, if that makes sense. She enters your dreams, assesses your threat level, and then, depending on how dangerous you might be, kills you in your sleep, which then would kill you in the real world. As someone quite neatly put it in the comments of that video, she is Freddy Krueger, as in federal Freddy. You get the idea. That's a really cool idea. Having just a federal government division that is, Freddy Krueger's running around, going into people's dreams, taking them out. That's a really cool idea. And personality-wise, Hayes is most of the time quite serious, but she does have some really neat interactions with, Viscus, where she kind of is a bit more open with Viscus, weirdly, of all people, where she says, for, recreational stuff, she, plays the cello. That's a cool idea. I like the idea of, Hayes being sat there playing the cello. That's a really neat idea. And thankfully, her design is very good. It is still quite clearly a work in progress. The knives on her chest kind of clip into her outfit, which is a bit weird, but, she has, a militaristic outfit adorned with patches and little, thingies, what do you call it, what is the word I'm looking for? Patches, little kind of pocket. Why did it take me so long to think of the word pocket? Pockets and stuff. And I really love her weirdly ghostly smoke head. Her voice is also incredible. That weird whispery sound that she has, the weird effect she has on her voice when she whispers, is really creepy and it really works. I really like her sort of design and her story. Where she kind of falls a little bit flat for me is gameplay, but again, this is a skill issue. I can't really hit my headshots very well, and admittedly I do find her a little bit boring to play as, because for most of the time, Hayes does kind of just get dumbed down to shoot. She is very much a point-and-click character. You look at an enemy, you dump your magazines in them, and they die. I know I just praised Wraith for doing it, but Wraith gets the benefit of using a Tommy gun, and shooting so damn fast, I might as well be a walking A10 Warthog. And in Wraith's defense, she also does have the cool playing card stuff that you can mess around with. But Hayes literally cannot build for spirit, at least not in my experience, so she always has to go gun. There's no build diversity for Hayes, at least again, not in my experience. But with that said, we now move on to character 20. Said character at position 20 is Vindicta. Now, I mentioned it a lot in her own video, but the lore she has is intriguing to me on another level, because they use the real-life Salem witch trials as a basis for Vindicta's lore. Her being a victim of it, of course, and then being brought back to life during one of the first maelstroms, which was like events that bring the supernatural into the world. I saw some discussing whether or not that was like respectful to, you know, like what happened to it, or what happened, like the Salem witch trials, I mean. And in my opinion, I think it is respectful, because not only do they stress quite clearly how awful and how like terrible the Salem witch trials were, but they're bringing awareness to its existence. If you just pretend like it never happened, then that is in fact that's bad. You are just ignoring that this historical event, this tragedy happened, and that is worse than actually acknowledging it at all. Like, I'm glad that they stress how kind of disgusting that event was, or that period of time was. But Vindicta, lore-wise, is a very much kind of a stereotypical vengeful ghost. She's going after the Friends of Humanity, who I've already mentioned, and trying to take them out one at a time, because here's a fun fact, they are made up of John Hawthorne's like descendants. I mean, their leader currently is John Hawthorne Jr. Like, no shit, she would want to kill them. So yeah, she's taking out bigotry one Hydra head at a time. That's the video title. That's the name of that video. And I think that's a really interesting idea. Personality-wise, she is, you know, as you can probably imagine, quite serious a lot of the time. Does usually kind of dedicate herself to that single cause and doesn't try to do much outside of it. Some characters support her in that fact, like Abrams, Kelvin, Paige, Warden, and some others try to like stray her down or away from that path. Again, Kelvin tries to kind of say to her like, oh, this won't get you anywhere. But who is he to say that to Vindicta? He obviously never experienced what she had to go through as presumably a child, which is, you know, a horrible thing to have happen to you. Design-wise, because I'll talk about gameplay last, because it's the thing I don't really like about her personally, but design-wise, I think she's really, really good. I'm going to ignore the feet comments. It's just boring. The feet stuff is so damn boring. Like, if you just dumb down this character just being, haha, she doesn't wear any shoes, you are boring. I'm going to be completely real with you. I don't usually attack people in these videos. If you make all the Vindicta feet comments, you're just really damn boring. Because design-wise, I do really like her. I really love the sort of weeping ghost look she has, and I love the sort of weird, glowy, wobbly effect on her at all times. It really sells that ghostly look. And her outfit is quite neat. The sort of, I like the colour composition of like these purples, magentas, and blues all mix and matching. Gameplay-wise is where Vindicta falls a little bit short for me, but that's because you're going to hear this a lot. Skill issue. I suck at aiming these sniper shots. I cannot hit the sniper shots to save my life, so I don't get the benefit of the extra assassination bonus souls and all of that lovely jazz. A lot of the time I just default to just shooting people, which then as a result makes the gameplay of Vindicta a little bit boring for me. But hey, that's a skill issue on my part and I can't knock her too much for that. But with that said, we move on to the character at number 19th. Number 19th? Yeah, that makes sense. Said character in question being the first of the new 6 heroes that we got recently, that being Paige. Now, I don't necessarily have anything wrong with Paige. I think background-wise, she is very intriguing. Her having this brother who mysteriously went missing. Yeah, that does work. And sort of just, she's on a hunt for her brother, wherever he may be. Funny enough, Viper seems to know, which is really funny. Like, Viper mentions that she knows Paige's brother, and, like, she doesn't tell her? Viper, what are you doing? Like, Paige's entire reason for being here and talking to the patron and summoning them is to find out where her brother went or what happened to him. And Viper just knows him, which is really funny to me. Like, Paige is really sweet. I do like her lore. It's interesting that she obviously had a brother. There's, like, kind of theories that it might be Billy. After some comment discussions underneath Paige's video, I do kind of disagree with that theory, but, like, I like the idea. Like, Paige is just a really sweet woman as well. Like, personality-wise, she's just really, really lovely. She's very innocent, all things considered. Again, Viper does mistake her for a dancer that she met at a club, and Paige seems completely oblivious to whatever the hell she means. Like, come on, girl, you live in the cursed apple. How do you not know this stuff? Like, she's very innocent, she's very sweet. And gameplay-wise, I think she's quite fun as well. She is kind of our... I wouldn't say she's like the go-to support, but she definitely feels the most supportive of every character in this game. She feels like she was designed first and foremost as a support, and then it just so happens that everyone starts playing gun builds on her, and it's shockingly powerful. She's very fun to play as, and honestly her design is very good as well. I really, really love... I mean, it's a ginger woman wearing green. That's like an easy win. Like, ginger women in green? Wow. Instant win for me. I am immediately enamored, and the big round glasses look really lovely on her. She just looks really sweet. Like, I don't really have a problem with her. This is where we get into the territory of characters I don't really have a problem or annoyance with, per se. I think Paige is just a really lovely, sweet character. She just kind of isn't as cool to me as anyone beyond this point. So, and speaking of characters beyond this point, let's talk about character 18. Said character being another one from the recent additions, that being Victor. Victor is a very odd character to talk about, because I feel like if I talk about anything gameplay-wise, I'll wake up tomorrow and it will immediately be changed. But, so before I talk about gameplay, lore-wise, I think he's a kind of fun spin on the Frankenstein archetype, with him waking up on a mortuary assistance table, or a mortuary assistance table? No, a mortuary table, not assistance, and just being there. He's literally just made up of people's different body parts. He has no clue who made him, no clue why he was made, what, when, etc. And he's now just searching answers for who his body parts belong to, which is a cool idea for a Frankenstein character. And personality-wise, he's very entertaining as well. He is very much depressed at all times, but hey, he kind of delivers it in a funny way. He's very apathetic. He just seems very unbothered all the time. Like, funny enough, when Paige goes all freakazoid on him and says, never put on a shirt, he's just like, yeah, whatever, man. Like, that's kind of funny. He's very just kind of not all there. He's a very calm, very nonchalant dude. I think that's kind of fun. I like that. And design-wise, he is very much a kind of more book-accurate depiction of Frankenstein, because in the book they described him as being like really beautiful and having long flowing black hair, and a lot of characters do comment on Victor's very attractive traits, Mina, Paige, etc. He obviously has the long flowing black hair as well, and he's obviously stitched up and stuff. He looks great. Gameplay wise is where this character kind of is a bit of an iffy thing. I enjoy playing as him. That was until they decided to screw me over a couple days after I made this video, and he has the aura of suffering, right? And before, you could negate some of the damage that dealt to yourself with spirit resilience, so getting spirit resist items. That immediately got changed 2 days after I made my video. Do you know how annoying that is? Do you know, that's not funny, man. Why do you gotta do that to me? Why do you have to... Valve, why you gotta do this to me? So yeah, his gameplay is fun, but they have changed him a bit, and I haven't played him since. So I don't know, I can't really firmly say, oh, I love Victor's gameplay or I hate it. I liked it when I just most recently played him, which was before his recent wave of changes. So yeah, I'll leave my talk for gameplay for another day. But I think his story and his design is so good, I think I can safely put him here. But with that said, we now are going to talk about character at position 17. Said character being the ever lovely Mo and Krill. I'm going to be real with you, these two are here by personality alone. Story-wise, they're quite interesting, I will admit, as they are a member of the Tunnel Rats, which is a group that kind of do illicit trade and literally create tunnels underneath, you know, like New York City to transport stuff. Mo is a mole man, so as a result, obviously, he can dig, and they just actually dig tunnels underneath the ground, which is cool. It's cool underworld, kind of like a cool world expansion, that there's like a group of people underground who create all these tunnels and do all these trades and are kind of like, you know, criminals. Cool idea. Personality wise, oh my god, Krill is just one of the funniest dudes in this entire game. Every interaction he says is just unbelievably funny. Mo can't speak, obviously, so Krill does all of the dialogue. He is so funny. I cannot stress enough, like every line is just delivered with this sleazy businessman sound. Like, for any of you who play Persona 3, Tanaka is like that, just all the time. So damn funny. Shout out to Ray Chase, my goat, for doing these lines perfectly. every line just gives me a big old grin on my face. They are held up here in this spot by Krill's just line delivery. He's just too funny. Gameplay wise, they are quite fun as well. They are very much a bruiser character, want to be up close and personal, a lot of the time punching people, shooting people, maybe even using their abilities to, you know, I like their ult where you just kind of grab them and keep a person there. A lot of the time it is usually a free kill if there's someone else there with you. Like, they are just fun characters to play as. They're very animated, both personality and gameplay wise. The only issue I kind of have with them is their design. It is slightly unfinished. I'm sure, as some of you know, Krill is weird. Mo is very clearly a mole man, but Krill's species is unknown. We have no idea what Krill's meant to be, and Krill is both of them are almost a one-to-one with how they used to look in Neon Prime. So I do feel like at a later date, the both of them could experience a model upgrade, and I do think they would benefit from it, because for the meantime, the both of them have like missing textures and kind of just flat colors instead of textures. Like, Mo's body is literally just kind of white with weird dirt marks here and there, which is kind of weird. I don't understand why he looks like that. But yeah, design wise, the only thing that's kind of holding this character back a little bit, but I do like their personality and their gameplay so much that it kind of just shoots them up to this position. But with that said, we now move on to talking about character 16. Now, this may come as a shock to some of you, but it's Billy. Yeah, Billy is this high up. I have ravaged this character. I have dissed him. I have thrown every nasty word in the book at this character, because I'm going to be honest with you, I hate him. I hate his personality. I'm going to be quite firm in this. I do not like, he's not a punk. This dude is a fake, a fraud, and a poser. He has no community to speak of. He is not fighting for anyone. He is literally just shouting things and shouting hatred at the world. He's just aggressive to everyone. He's aggressive to Paige for no reason. He just shouts at everything. The Baxter Society never killed real monsters. It was a publicity stunt. Yeah, Billy, you really want to be saying that when you're getting killed by monsters in a dark alleyway? Yeah, no, you wouldn't be. You would be wanting Grey Talon to show up and save you. You are a fake. You are a fraud, and you are a poser. You are wearing the colours of punks and doing none of the things they actually stand for. You do not stand for a community because you do not have a community to stand for. You are just aggressively hateful all the time to nothing. Like, personality-wise, I hate Billy. I really, really hate him. He's literally like bottom 3 personality-wise. However, this character is here because I think his gameplay is so damn fun. This is one of the most fun characters to play as in the entire game. He is just this unbelievable, unrelenting melee damage dealing force of nature, and it is so much fun. Knocking people up and then slamming them back down with the bat, the constant just being in their face, smacking them, shooting them, chaining them all as they try to run away, and just doing it all over again. Billy games are some of the most chaotic, unbelievable highs I find in this game. I love playing as him. And design-wise, I think he's really fantastic as well. I know if some people have tried to say that obviously all of his rage is kind of like a front. It's kind of him just projecting his like anger and sadness inside of him. But I'm going to be real, until we get like maybe a hint of him actually being sad or being tormented in some way, shape or form, I'm not going to give him any leeway, because I'm going to be real, he's just being really annoying and really hateful all the damn time. But a point to kind of prove that is that on his design, on his back, he's like a little plush of himself, or a little plush of a sheep in some way. I think it's a plush of a sheep. I think that's kind of cute. I like his design. It's like he's got, aesthetically, the punk look is kind of nailed down quite well. He does certainly look like a punk. I think it's really cool that he has like the nails in his horns. Like, that's a cool way to show like piercings on, you know, someone who has a goat's head. Like, design-wise, he very much looks like a punk. He's just a fake and a fraud and a poser. He's just wearing the skin of a punk whilst not actually being one, personality-wise and story-wise. Like, he doesn't really have much of a story, honestly. His story is just that he's really angry all the damn time. And yeah, I can tell he's miserable because of it. But his gameplay is really damn good. I actually kind of wish his gameplay was bad, so I had more reason to hate him and he could be down at like 32 or 31. But with all of that said, let us now move on to character 15. Said character at number 15 is one of the lovely faces of this game, and some would argue the face of the game, in, capitalized, italicized the, Abrams. I like Abrams a lot. He is about as middle of the road as it gets. He has very good lore. I think he's, I really like his kind of, look, I'm a sucker for the 50s detective look, and Abrams really hits the nail on the head, but in that Deadlock way that makes him stand out. Like, story-wise, he is, a detective. He does detective stuff. He helps people solve cases. He beats people up if needs be. And he has a magical tome that's permanently chained to his hand all damn time, which, obviously, we don't know what that tome is or what it's doing, but it's an intriguing kind of question you must ask. Like, what is the tome? Why does it do this? And have they expanded upon it yet? Of course not. But in this case, I don't really have a problem with it, because, well, the tome is intentionally trying to be mysterious. Like, it's not like in some other characters' cases where they just don't have stuff fleshed out. Like, for example, Wraith knowing telekinesis. Why does she know that? I don't know. They don't actually explain it. But the tome is, like, intentionally trying to be mysterious. I mean, he had it left on his desk with, "Don't let them have it in blood." Like, hello? That's kind of weird and creepy. And personality-wise, I do really like Abrams. Kind of your rough and tough, lovable fella. I mean, a lot of people have quite a high amount of respect for him. He's just a cool dude. I mean, not many characters really dislike him, honestly. He's just kind of a detective. He does his thing. Hard-hitting, hard-loving. He's a cool guy. He's just a cool guy. He's a detective. Detectives, I'm a sucker for detectives. Samoa Joe does an amazing job at voicing him as well. Like, he kind of has that soft side sometimes when, like, say, for example, he talks to Pocket, which is really sweet. But he obviously can be, hard and tough whenever he's talking to, like, I don't know, Lash. And design-wise, he's really fantastic. He could have just been, a boring detective. Outfit-wise, he is, relatively simple. But because he is an Ixion, a demon per se, with the blue skin, the horns, the tail, it just looks cool. He's just, like, a very simple character who really hits the nail on the head pretty much perfectly. I've got no issues with him whatsoever. He is literally, some would obviously argue, he is the face of the game. I have a different opinion, as I'm sure some of you may know. But yeah, Abrams is good. I like him. He is middle of the road. That's why he kind of sits almost smack dab in the middle of the list. But with that said, let us now talk about character 14. The character sitting at 14 being none other than Paradox. Paradox is a very interesting character to me. Character to me, that was literally character to me, all merged into one word. I like Paradox. She is a member of the Paradox organization, which is a group of bored rich people who steal things and put them in a museum for the fun of it. That's a cool idea. They're like reverse Robin Hoods. They're rich people stealing from rich people. Reverse Robin Hoods? I don't know, they're just another way of doing Robin Hood. Rich people stealing from rich people for the fun of it. Like, I don't know, it's kind of a fun idea. I like her. And specifically, the member, Paradox, the character, playable, etc. Personality-wise is quite fun. She's really, really fun. I like how kind of teasing she is with a lot of characters. She's very clever as well. And she kind of just... She has a lot of, what's his name? Sly Cooper feels to her, like a time thief. I know, obviously, people don't like the game that has all the time travel stuff, Sly Cooper-wise. I only ever played the first Sly Cooper game, and I don't really remember it. I was like 8 or something. But I just like Paradox a lot. She's just really cool, and honestly, she's really damn attractive, and most of it has to do with her voice actress, which is Ellie Newlands. For those that don't know, she's Scottish, and as a result, she just... Scottish women. I'm sitting here kicking my feet and shit. Like, Paradox is really damn attractive, and honestly, the way she teases characters is quite playful, jokey. I just like it. I just like her. She's just really, really fun. And gameplay-wise, she's also incredibly fun. She's also very strong. She is, like, definitely one of the strongest characters in this game. She does insane damage with the time bomb and the rifle. The rifle is so satisfying to use. The sound effect work on the rifle is just, whew, that clicks. And I love that all of her abilities can be chained into one another. Like, you can throw the bomb at your feet, put up your wall, swap places with a person, and then have your carbine charged and then shoot them. And they will literally lose like 70-80% of their health. That is such a fun combo to get off. She's one of the most fun characters in the game to play as. And per a recent glitch that people have found, where you can sort of dash, jump, aim down sights, and just get insane momentum. She's now even more fun. That'll probably get patched out. It's probably already been patched out. But man, that is so much fun to do. I did it yesterday. Whew. Well, did I do it yesterday? It must have been a couple days ago. I don't remember. Either way, that's just really fun. She's a really fun character. And design-wise, she's perfect. She's immediately recognizable. I love her I love her coat, the weird fishbowl, hourglass head, the little blue rose in her pocket. She has a lovely color scheme, a lovely design. The only disappointment I have is that her weapon is relatively unfinished. I don't really know what her weapon is meant to be, and I kind of wish we had something a bit more firm, maybe, like a sort of super-powered pistol in some way, shape, or form. I don't know. Her weapon's design is the only thing that I don't particularly like. But with all of that said, we now move on to character number 13. Said character being the ever-lovely Bebop. Story-wise, Bebop is a lovely character. I love the idea of him being created by this, widowed junkyard attendant who just kind of made him out of scrap, and now he's alive, and he's just... I don't know, it's kind of a sweet story. Bebop is a very sweet character. All things if you look at Bebop, right? The big, imposing metal golem with just this big wrecking ball for a fist. But man, he's just a lovely man. He's a lovely dude. He's very sweet all the time. He cares a lot for his creator, Miss Shelley, and obviously is doing everything he does to support her. I mean, he fights in a bear pit for her to get the money for her medicine. I presume he's obviously here in the ritual to wish for her well-being, which obviously that would make more than enough sense. He's very sweet, interaction wise. Obviously he gets very serious whenever he obviously gets someone threatens Miss Shelley. He gets super duper serious whenever who is it that threatens them? I don't remember. Someone threatens Miss Shelley in some way, shape, or form, and he's like, "You're not going anywhere near her." It's hearing him go from a relatively sweet, nice, kind robot fella to just immediately switching "You're not gonna touch her." I like that. I like that a lot. And his voice acting does have to do a lot with it. JB Blanc does an amazing job, and I literally can't thank him enough. I think he's the sort of weirdly British British kinda accent, Australian. Is he? I think he's British Australian. That whatever accent is awesome. I think it just really works for Bebop. And gameplay wise, he's obviously incredibly fun. Hook person in, put bomb on them, uppercut them away. This is bread and butter combo, but it's so much fun to just watch people run away and then suddenly explode and they've taken half their health. And the giant laser beam is always just, a nice final touch, the bomb stuff is just fun. There's so many ideas you can do with him. You can just put the bomb on yourself, go invisible with Veil Walker, and just appear in front of people and just blow them up, or just use Veil Walker and go up to people invisible and put bombs on them. It's just fun. Bebop is just a very, very fun character, and I cannot, he's just fun. What else do you want me to say? He's very strong. He's just very fun. And design-wise, I like him a lot. He is very much a relic of Neon Prime, but they changed his design, color scheme-wise, in a way where he went from this neon-colored robot to rustic reds and browns and oranges, and that really makes him work. His design is almost one-to-one, but the color scheme change has taken him from, a neon cyberpunky robot to looking like he's made out of scrap. And that just works. That works perfectly. I love Bebop. I love him very much. Even if, per Viper's wording, he is a choir boy robot, which is a very funny nickname for him. But with that said, we now move on to character 12. Said character being the ever lovely Ivy. Background-wise, I think Ivy is a very interesting character. The idea that, she just came to life just like that because she saw someone in danger. I think someone pointed out that is the whole idea with gargoyles, that they watch over people and protect them if they are in danger. So the idea of her coming to life to actually protect the Arroyos is a cool idea. That's a great idea for a character. And her being a sentient gargoyle was quite unique, all things considered, especially for video games. And her personality is just very lovely. I mean, at the age of barely 18, she took down an entire crime family. Oh, what? She is strong. Hello? I like her. I really do. Personality-wise, she's really, really lovely. She's just relatively naive at times. She can obviously, due to, it's hard to determine her age, because by technicality, she is 18, but it's kind of weird because like you are a gargoyle. The gargoyles age kind of weird, but mentally she can be a bit naive at times. Some characters do kind of point that out. Like she is very much I believe in justice and good in the world, and like, you know, I do too, Ivy. I give you a thumbs up. And fun fact, she also has a visual novel. She's already a character that's fleshed out very well, with a lot of her family members, such as her sister Sophia being studying under Dynamo and working for Rafe to pay tuition. Like, she's a relatively fleshed out character, but she still is getting a visual novel, which I think is really funny. And yeah, I like Ivy. I do. It's kind of hard to pinpoint why I do, but she's just kind of sweet, fun. Her voice actress does an excellent job, that being Gianni Tirado, which she just does a lovely job. And Ivy is a Spanish gargoyle. Where in what other game can you say that she's a character as a Spanish gargoyle? That's a cool idea. And gameplay wise, I think Ivy is very fun. You can do a lot of damage. Gun builds on Ivy are a lot of fun because you, akin to Rafe, will just walk up to someone and blitz them down. The difference is Ivy is shockingly fast. I don't know why her sprint speed always ends up feeling like it's twice as high as everyone else's, but she is very fast. And even if you don't want to do the gun build and you go for like a support build, that's some of the most fun you can have in the game as well. Like, support Ivy is a unkillable menace. Her 2, her second ability, is just, whoa, that's doing way too much for what it's like actually worth. Like, she's a very fun character. I enjoy her a lot. And design wise, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I just love the sort of gargoyle. Like, they did obviously change her design to look a bit more cutesy, but she still has that gremlin-y gargoyle look with the sort of under teeth, or the underbite and the big teeth at the bottom. I accidentally just hit my mic. Whoopsie daisy. I like her sort of flat cap. I like the sort of vines growing all over her body. And before I move on to the next character, shout out the trans people. I love all of you, and Ivy is the GOAT, and I do know now why so many trans people attach themselves to Ivy, and I respect it 100%. You lot are awesome. But with that said, we now move on to character 11. Said character being none other than the electric executioner himself, Seven. Seven is very interesting lore-wise. I do really like him. He's very much a sort of psychopath. He literally, I mean, I don't know, he's kind of a weird one to analyze, like psychology-wise, because he is both enjoying his killings, but not at the same time. Per his own admission, he says he's indifferent to murder, but he did also laugh as he, you know, obliterated and popped everyone's heads like grapes when he was freeing himself from prison. Like, that's probably because, haha, I'm finally free, but yeah, no, I don't know. He probably enjoyed it a little bit. And he is very much, it's kind of like a weird, controlled psychopath. Like, on the one hand, he does, you know, like, do murder. He does evil, bad stuff. He wants to rule all of New York and become a god. But at the same hand, he knows how to play his hand. He knows that he has to wait out that eventuality. He can't just go around electrocuting people because the OSIC will come for him and they probably will be able to get him. But if he does manage to reach his level of, what does he call it? Apotheosis? Through the ritual, man, no one's going to be spared. He's actually just going to turn into a walking thundercloud that just kills everything in its vicinity. And that is, you know, really cool. I'm going to be real with you. I think he's actually really, really damn cool. And gameplay-wise, he's arguably one of the strongest characters in the entire game. He's very easy to play as. I mean, you just press 3 and everything in front of you will probably die. Or you press 4 and everything around you will probably just get electrocuted and explode. Like, gameplay-wise, Seven is very fun. He's also very fast as well, because I believe his sprint speed scales with his spirit, which means you don't ever really have to buy movement items on him unless you're, you know, getting really screwed over. It's like, Seven is very fun to play as. Gameplay-wise, his story is quite interesting, with him obviously being this maniacal, electric god of doom. And design-wise, I think he's fantastic. I love his weird, like, Tesla coil-looking dish head thing. I love that his skin is almost, like, melted into the bag that would have been on his head. It's like they tried to use the electric chair on him, and the bag on his head is just like melded into his skin, and you can see his like skull glowing through the face with the yellow lines for his smile and his eye holes. Like, that's so damn cool. And his like actual outfit just being a bunch of loose wires and ripped chains, and all of that just looks so damn cool. He's got one of the best designs in this entire game, like very easily, in my opinion. But with that said, and my high sung praise is done for him, let's move on to number 10. That being yet another one of our newest characters, Drifter, or the Drifter, as some call him. I'm going to be real with you. Lore-wise, he's relatively interesting. He's an ancient vampire and, to our knowledge, centuries old. He refers to New York as New Amsterdam, which implies that he's been around since 1665. Oh my god, this dude is like 300 years old. Like, he's old. Vampires, when they get old, they get stronger and stronger. And yeah, he is a very scary fella. I really like the idea that he's just like this boogeyman that prowls the streets of New York, always just hunting for other victims. Like, you just see like his weird glowing red arms in the darkness, and it's like, oh, I'm going to die now. I do not get to live the rest of my life. Like, Drifter is terrifying, and personality-wise, he's very, very entertaining. Mostly because, although it's not confirmed, I 100% know that this is Matt Mercer. This is Matt Mercer. I'm not gonna fight anyone on it. Matt Mercer is definitely the Drifter, and his Cajun accent is just so damn good. I love how he speaks. He just has this kind of big grin on his face at all times. You can hear it in the way he speaks. He teases everyone. He mocks everyone. He very rarely doesn't... He's never actually intimidated by anyone, really. Apparently, him and Grey Talon have a history together. Grey Talon even, thinks that he may have killed his kids. And what is his response? Wesley, if I killed your kids, I would have tied you down and make you watch. What? What? Are you serious, Drifter? Wesley, he's too cool. I love him. Game lore and personality wise, he's one of the most entertaining characters in the whole game. Gameplay wise, he's really damn fun as well. He snowballs so easily because of his passive ability, where every solo kill he gets bonus, or isolated hero kill he gets bonus weapon damage. The melee builds on him are just so damn fun. His shooting, gun builds, just shooting people, is really damn fun. He's just a damn fun character to play as. And design-wise, he's pretty much perfect. He's a murder hobo. He's a murder hobo vampire. He has this, obviously, Dracula inspiration with how, his collar is puffed up and, bright red and quite spiky. But he very much looks like he's not out of his prime per se, but you can imagine seeing going into a haunted mansion or something and seeing a picture of Drifter all prim and proper up on the wall, and then you turn the corner and he's right there dressed in his hobo fit with his flat cap and stuff. He's just really damn cool. He's definitely one of the highlights of the newest set of characters, though of course not my favorite. But with all of that said, we now move on to number 9. That being the ever lovely, take a shot every time I say that, please don't actually. It's Dynamo. Dynamo. Oh, Dynamo. I want him to hug me. Dynamo is so sweet. Story-wise, he went through a horrific event of having his body completely torn apart and turned into a space atom thing. Yeah, he gets turned into a tiny dying star. That is horrific. That is traumatic stuff. And yet, Dynamo is just still this lovely, sweet dude. Personality-wise, he's one of the most kind characters in the whole game. He's very much the dad of Deadlock. He's very sweet to everyone, cares for everyone. If you threaten, obviously, the children that tutor under him, because he's a university professor, he will obviously be very protective of them. It's really sweet. Dynamo's just an unbelievably sweet dude. He's also our resident wife guy. He has a lovely wife who seems to love him and cooks him food that he can't really eat, and as a result, he just smells of that food as a result, which is really sweet. He's just lovely. And gameplay-wise, he's one of the most fun characters to play as. He's very simple to understand. I do, most of the time, just play as him and stomp. I just use the one all the time, just stomp my foot, watch people fly up and take 1 billion damage. The Black Hole is a game-changing ult. His healing is shockingly high, even if you're not speccing into it. And the teleport thing has saved me more times than I can count. I have avoided Drifter or Lash ults. I have avoided every ult in the game playing as Dynamo, and it is an absolute joy. And design-wise, he's near perfect. this big, round, robotic-looking fella with his little green bow tie and his little bag of knickknacks and stuff. Like, he just is sweet. He's just so lovely. He looks like a university professor. He looks like the sort of teacher that everyone starts crying over at the end of the year. Like, he's just lovely. I cannot sing his praises high enough. But with that said, we now move on to number 8. Now, this may be a bit of a surprise to some, maybe, potentially, but number 8 is Viper. Now, Viper, I will get this out of the way immediately, design-wise does not exist. Her design is a one-to-one recreation of or not a one-to-one, but like a remodified version of a Neon Prime character. She's just coloured green instead and has a slightly more bare bones outfit. Her design doesn't really exist, but we know that she's getting a redesign soon where she's turned into an actual proper snake woman, and more importantly a cobra, which is really, I think that really fits her. But as of late, she's gotten a few changes, like a sort of mini rework gameplay-wise, which has just made me suddenly love her. Her recent gameplay changes have just made her so much fun for me, because I kind of suck at sliding. I don't know why. Someone said, do you not have a pinky finger? And you know what? No, I don't actually. I do have a pinky finger. I just kind of struggle to press control whilst I'm playing the game. I don't know. Kind of a weird thing that I'm a bit cack-handed, as British people would say. So the whole gameplay loop for her previously was obviously sliding as much as possible, because you would have the resistances during the slide. Well, they've gotten rid of that, and now it's a barrier. And they've also changed her one to be more consistent and more usable all the time. So now I'm just playing Spirit Viper and having the time of my life. She is very fun to play as for me now, finally. It took a while for me to really click with her, but obviously I'm sure, as many of you can probably guess, the reason why she's this high up is her personality. Her personality is top of the top. Literally, I'm going to say it, I know I said Mo and Krill is probably one of the funniest characters. Viper is the definitive funniest character in this game. Every line she says is oozing with this personality that I cannot break away from. She makes me giddy. Like, her voice actress, that being, I'm going to scroll up on this page, Stephanie Kerbis. Wow, she needs the highest props imaginable. She makes Viper just sound like a normal person. Like, every line is delivered with this perfect level of casual, like, funniness that I just cannot get enough of. Like, her line to Lady Geist that I think I've referenced earlier, where she says, "Lady, I'm gonna mug the shit out of you." Like, that's too funny to me. That had me giggling to hell and back when I heard it first. I am enamored with this snake woman. She is hilarious in, like, her personality. Just go listen to some of her voice lines. Or go watch my video. I play a few voice lines in that. Like, just go watch my video and you will hear how giddy I am about her personality. That, and yes, I would take a risk of getting stabbed to have a night with her. What about it? You would too. I'm sure you would, maybe, potentially. And speaking of women that I would risk my life to have a night with, we are now going to move on to number 7. That character at number 7 being Mina, another one of the newer characters added to this game. Story-wise, I think Mina is very, very hilarious. A very rich, very bratty woman who had her spouse, that being Pocket, assassinated on their wedding day, and she was not upset because Pocket got assassinated, but because she wouldn't be marrying into the Fairfax family and earning $1 billion trillion. She is not upset that her spouse is dead, she's upset that she's not getting a lot of money, and as a result, her parents obviously were demanded to fix it by herself, and as a result, they turned her into it, or she let them, or how would I put this? She basically got turned into a vampire. She was given immortality and eternal youth as well as a result. And now she's trying to make her way up through vampire society. And personality-wise, as you can probably imagine, she's an incredibly bratty rich girl. And I think that is an easy win for me. I think bratty, sort of, like, kind of rich, stuck-up girls are just kind of easy wins. Like, another reference, I'm not kind of in the same ballpark, but Hades 2, right? That game, Eris. In that game, I am head over heels for Eris. The bratty, snarky women, yeah, easy win. I'm autistic. If a woman's going to tell me what she wants from me, easy win, really. But yeah, Mina's just incredibly hilarious. Like, at all times, she just mocks and makes fun of basically everyone, but in this snarky way, it's like, I'm better than you, and I'm going to tell you exactly why in every single way. It's too funny. I love her. She's serving. she's surfing. And gameplay-wise, she's also incredibly fun to play as. She does a lot of good burst damage. She did get nerfed recently, but she also got a new passive where she can be Mary Poppins and fly around by aiming down sights with her umbrella. That's a really fun addition. I don't know, I don't know why they didn't have that in the game already, but like, she's very fun to play as. I do enjoy her a lot, and design-wise, I think she's pretty much perfect. A young Asian woman, or woman dressed in like high fashion with a lot of vampire aesthetics to it. Like, whereas Drifter has the sort of what would you call it, like Dracula vampire side of things, Mina is very much leaning into all of the bat aesthetics, with a lot of her clothes and accessories having bat motifs. I think that really, really does work for her. She's an absolute star. Like, there could not have been a better character to start the release train of the new 6 than her. Because for those who don't know, obviously, Mina was the first of the new 6 heroes to come out, and then everyone else got voted in, like, one by one. I think Mina was like the perfect choice to add in first. I think that was literally like a genius play on Valve's part, and I love her dearly. I think she's hilarious in every sort of way. And with that said, we now move on to number 6, that being the ever hot Infernus. Now, Infernus is an interesting choice. I think this is high personal bias being here. Story-wise, I think he's relatively interesting. That being that when he was a teenager, he was wild, rebellious, and also very much in crime. He was very much doing things such as arson, murder, evidence disposal, mostly due to his supernatural mastery over fire, which, you know, makes those sorts of jobs a little bit easier. But obviously as time has gone on and he's grown out of that phase, he's mellowed out per his background description, and now he just works a bar, good live music, talks to interesting people, and now he's just kind of a bit chill. I really like Infernus. Personality-wise, he's just cool. He's just chill all the time. It's ironic that someone obviously with fire power is like the dichotomy between the two of them, right? He's a dude with fire powers, which most would presume results in, you know, like hot-headedness and quite aggressive and brash, etc. But he's like one of the most chill dudes in Deadlock. Like, it's very rare that he's antagonistic with anyone, and he just kind of chills all the time. Who doesn't like Infernus? And admittedly, a lot of my praise for Infernus does have to come from, you know, like his design and his gameplay. Because gameplay-wise, I really do like Infernus. I love just setting people on fire and watching that damage tick down and down and then they're dead. The afterburn stuff is so much fun to use, and it's even more fun when you just like dash in and blow up. And he was, this is where the personal bias part comes in, the first character I ever played as. So there's a little special place in my heart for Infernus. It's kind of like Genji in Overwatch. I don't really play Genji much anymore, I'm not very good at him, but he was the first character I ever grew attached to back when Overwatch 1 came out. I was like, what, 10 or something? I was like 11, I think. I was a kid. I was like, wow, Cyborg Ninja! Infernus is a similar thing. I saw him, immediately was like, oh, cool fire bartender, man. And I wanted to play him, and play him I did. And design-wise, I do think he's fantastic. He's got sort of I love that he has like the shakers on his waist, like the guns. Like the idea that he's dressed in his bartender get up as if he's gonna go here to do his fight and then immediately just go back to the bar to start, you know, serving drinks and stuff is a lovely design idea. And I love the fire coming out of the back of his head in place of like hair. The fedora is just lovely. The red color schemes, he just looks awesome. He's a standout. He's another one of those like instantly recognizable characters. I see Infernus, I'm like, yeah, that guy's from Deadlock immediately, and I love him. He, again, very much personal bias for him being this high, but anyways, with all of that said, we move on to number 5. Said character at number 5 is none other than Pocket. Now, lore-wise, I think Pocket is very intriguing. Per a discussion I had with a commenter underneath that video, the idea that Pocket is very, like, I need to stress this immediately. Pocket is non-binary. They are 100% non-binary. If this was an anonymity thing, characters like Mina, who hate Pocket's guts, would not use they them pronouns. They would call, or like Mina would call Pocket whatever other pronouns, right? Pocket is very much non-binary, and I think that actually could play a huge part in Pocket's story. Pocket was assassinated on their 18th birthday, if I remember rightly, which coincidentally may have just also been the wedding day of between themselves and Mina. And I don't think that was for like a business reason. I think, per a discussion I had with a commenter, that Maximilian Fairfax, Pocket's father, who is the owner of the Fairfax Corporation, this incredibly rich, powerful man, wanted to assassinate Pocket for being firm on their gender identity. They pointed out that on the map there is a advertisement where it's something like, oh, this will be your son's favorite birthday present. It's like an advert from Fairfax that has what looks to be a really young Pocket on the thing. And that, like, the idea that Maximilian Fairfax assassinated his own, child just because of their gender identity is a really interesting idea. That's a very, very interesting idea. Obviously, that's kind of like a fan theory of headcanon per se, but that would really work. I really love that idea story-wise. And Pocket is, actually speaking of their canon story, just generally an interesting character. They are just very much a secluded, kind of struggling character. Obviously, after, being assassinated, they had to go on the run, and are now kind of hanging out with characters like Mo and Krill in the tunnels. And Mo and Krill even protected Pocket for quite a long while, and they regard each other as friends. And it's sweet to know that Pocket, someone who kind of just has had everyone at every turn betray them in some way, have someone to look to for protection in Mo and Krill is really sweet. Dynamo is also incredibly sweet with them, being Pocket's, funny enough, godfather, which is a random sort of link that I didn't know until obviously I made their video way back when. But just Pocket story-wise is very interesting. Design-wise, I think they're fantastic. I love that, like, their jacket is too big for them to imply that they are, obviously, like, wearing clothes that aren't big for them. They're trying to make themselves look more, like, older than they actually are. And gameplay-wise, they're incredibly fun to play as well. I really love the burst damage they can do. They are one of the most mobile characters in the entire game. There's not a time where I'm not having fun playing Pocket. Their gun is fun. As I said, their movement is insane. Their burst damage is really, really high. The frogs are weird. I don't know. I still don't know why they have frogs. I mean, apparently a statue of the ancestor of, like, there's a dude called Walter Fairfax. A statue of him has appeared on the map recently behind the Baroness Hotel. And on that statue, there's frogs over the old man's legs. And it's like, what does frogs have to do with the Fairfaxes? Where is the connection? Either way, I don't know. I love Pocket. I love the ideas, that the potential behind their story, and their story as it is now is quite interesting. Their gameplay obviously is very, very fun. I really need to stress how much I enjoy their gameplay. It's just the burst damage, the movement, all of it just works so perfectly. Every ability merges into one another. They are a very fun character. I love them a lot. But with that said, let us move on to number 4. It's time to talk about him. It's time to talk about the Lash. Yep, Lash is number 4. Lash is... he is just... what do you need to say about him? We don't really know much about him story-wise. Background-wise, his in-game background literally just says, Jacob Lash is an asshole. You don't really need to know much more than that. And honestly, his personality is just so infectious and over the top and hilarious that I just cannot get enough of it. He just... all the time, he's just bigging himself up. He's the coolest dude around. He's the strongest dude around. He's the hottest dude around. He's just so much fun. He's so funny. Every line he says has this just exuberant amounts of personality and confidence and cockiness. And some have pointed out it could be akin to, like, a wrestler's, what's it called, a wrestler's heel, like someone who intentionally plays up being evil for, the show. And that works so much for Lash. But the idea of him actually just being this huge asshole who just thinks he's the best thing ever is too funny to me. Like, every line he does, everything he does, it's just hilarious. He's perfect. Like, he's just, I'm the Lash, baby. Oh, I'm undeniable. Like, he's so stupid. I'm the best to ever do it, babe. Like, come on, you're too funny. He's perfect. Like, personality-wise, he's absolutely infectious. Is he a bit of a dickhead? Is he a bit of a knob? Yes. But man, he is a knob in a way that's so charming. It's so, so funny. Gameplay-wise, he's very, very fun as well. His burst damage is insane. He's very mobile with his whips. like just flying through the air and just slamming down on people. I love that on the slam he does like a flexing pose with his arms, and he looks too funny. And design wise, he's perfect. He looks like a stereotypical like circus strongman with the big mustache, and I love the little sparkles around his head that are there at all times. Very strong, buff dude. He's also incredibly hot, but of course that is just me. Maybe just me. He's like an alternative universe version of Brom from League of Legends. Like, Brom is, you know, big, massive circus strongman look-alike with a big mustache, and he's a really lovely, sweet dude. And Lash is like his evil cousin, where he looks the exact same, but he's just like a knob all the time, and it's so funny. Like, his personality is just infectious, his design is fantastic, and his gameplay is so much fun. But with that said, let us move on to number 3. Yes, we're entering the top 3, guys. This is the big scary ones. These are the top 3. And at number 3 is my beloved Viscus. Viscus is... what do I need to say? Viscus is just unbelievably fun. Story-wise, they are a very interesting character. They open the door to what could be some of the most interesting background stuff for Deadlock's world. That being that the Bermuda Triangle is like this shadow portal that opened up and let in all of these like supernatural underwater creatures. Things like, per his background, the Loch Ness Monster. Like, the Loch Ness Monster is real in Deadlock's universe. I really like that idea. I really like the idea that, you know, these supernatural creatures like Loch Ness Monster, Bigfoot, other deep sea creatures as well. Like, Bigfoot is obviously not a deep sea creature, but you get the idea. Like, supernatural beings are real, and they exist in Deadlock, and they have been around for ages. And one of them, being the adversary, is the one that hunts the seas, and the ocean denizens are scared to death, and here comes Viscus in their goo body to save the world, and tell the surface of the imminent threat coming for them all. And I just, that's a cool idea. I like that his lore expands upon the world of Deadlock, but personality-wise, Viscus is easy wins for me. They are so stupid, so silly, so sweet and cute all the time, and I cannot get enough of them. Every word they say gives me this big, stupid grin on my face. Yuri Lowenthal does just an amazing job as him. Like, he just delivers every line with this innocent, like, stupidity. He's just like, hello! Like, it's too funny. I just have this big grin on my face all the time, every time Viscus speaks. His interactions with everyone is hilarious. Like, the one with Seven, where Seven just goes, oh god, it's talking to me. Like, Viscus, this green, silly goo man, is like the most petrifying thing in the whole world. It's too funny. It's too sweet. It's too sweet. Design-wise, even right now, Viscus's design is obviously quite unfinished, but even now, like, Viscus's design is still great. I love the green goo man. He just looks so silly all the time. Like, he's just such a silly character. Like, design-wise, he looks silly all the time. Like, story and personality-wise, he's very silly, very sweet and cute. And his gameplay is just so much fun. He's one of the most versatile characters in the whole game. You can build into every ability and see success. You can build spirit damage for the splatter and just obliterate people with a green ball. You can be a support through the cube and other items. You can be a melee damage dealer through Puddle Punch and, you know, your actual melee. Or you can be what I do and annoy everyone by rolling around as a goo ball that flies across the sky on a magic carpet. Like, Viscus just has so much depth to him. He has so many different ways you can play him, and that makes every game as him just a thrill. No one game is going to be the same as the last with Viscus, because you can just build into everything. It's so much fun to play as Viscus. Add that onto his, obviously he's going to get a redesign soon, but add that onto his very silly looking design as it is, and his very fun personality and intriguing world building through his lore. I don't see why not he shouldn't be up this high. I mean, obviously there's a personal list. It's going to be a lot of personal bias. Some people might not like Viscus, but I really, really do. Glory to the cube, as they say. But with that said, we now move into the top 2. This will be the deciding factor, and if you know your characters well, you will know who is won. But with that said, our number 2 is Lady Geist. Now, if I can admit something immediately, Lady Geist does have a leg up on almost every character in this entire game. That mostly due to being the only character with a fleshed out visual novel. I've mentioned the visual novels a few times, and Lady Geist is damn near finished. It has full artwork, mostly completed voice work. Like, it is, you can see the whole thing on YouTube right now. And it really lets us look into Lady Geist personality-wise, story-wise. We know so much more about her than we do almost every other character. She's one of the most fleshed out in this game. And as a result, I do think she just has this leg up above everyone else. And in my opinion, per my video title, she is the face of this game. Some have tried to push back against that, but I feel like the character that you see, like if you load up Deadlock right now and you go to play a game, who's the first character you see when you press E on the little menu thing to play? You see her. She's there immediately. She has so much. She's just perfect, actually. She's nearly perfect. Story-wise, she has a lot more development. We know a lot about her history with her husband and her grandson and her son. We know a lot about how she interacts with these other characters. Her interactions are always very lovely, or very kind of interesting. She's a snarky woman. She's the type that knows she's better than you, and she doesn't need to tell you that. She just shows it. She shows it through the way she speaks, the way she looks at people, that she just is everywhere. She's interacted with everyone. She finds Shiv attractive, I'll throw that one in there. She funded Kelvin's expedition, obviously the one that, got him killed per se. She has an old grudge against Paradox. She's obviously interacts a lot with the other arguable face of the game, being Abrams, someone that, funny enough, in one of the visual novel endings, actually moves into her apartment. So the two of them are kind of like the dual faces of this game. I think Lady Geist has a little leg up, mostly due to, having an entire visual novel to herself, and having, literally her being the first character you see if you boot up the game and go to play a match. Like, gameplay-wise, she's just fantastic. I think the sort of health management mechanics with her, with the bomb and the knives and sucking the life out of people, is really damn fun. Her ult is very fun to use as well. It's very satisfying to go from like no health to full health and watching your enemy just plummet down to near death levels. And design-wise, since her recent upgrade, she's just perfect. The Oathkeeper looks fantastically creepy with the weird spindly fingers. For those that don't know, Oathkeeper is the glowing green arm. She looks incredibly young. She looks gorgeous. The outfit design is perfect. She has this perfect, she just looks perfect. She fits the time period perfectly. She has just, I cannot sing my high praises for Lady Geist enough. If you want to know more, of course, you can go obviously watch my full-blown video. I won't go too much. I don't want to get carried away, of course. So yeah, I'll stop myself here before I get too carried away and just go watch the full video if you want my further in-depth thoughts on, her. But with that said, you probably already know who number one is. I have not shied away from praising this character to the high heavens. I think he, or it, if you wish to call it that, is a near masterpiece of a character. I don't know what Valve was smoking in the studio when they made him, but damn, I want some, because if it's resulting in stuff like this, it's got to be good. And of course, as I'm sure many of you have already presumed from the way I'm talking about him, number one, my favourite character in this entire game, is one of the recent additions, that being the Doorman. Where do I begin? Where does one begin talking about the Doorman? Should I talk about that his gameplay is one of the most fun, unique, just thrills I've ever felt in any game I've ever played? Do I talk about that the bell is an incredibly unique ability that not only is a disruptive force but does high damage and is incredibly fun and unique to use? Do I talk about how many utility uses there are with the double doors and how you can use them like, portals and do all of this weird wacky stuff with positioning and escape techniques and movement and all of this lovely stuff with just the doors alone? One of the most complex abilities in the entire game. Do I talk about the fact that his cart pushes people away, can push enemies, you can push enemies away, send your friendlies into fights? Do I talk about the fact that it stuns on level 3, which allows for insane damage combos? Do I talk about that his ult is this just instant lock away from the fight ability that removes a player from the match for a good 3-4 seconds, or maybe like 5-6 seconds, and then does a big burst of damage where they have to play parkour in a otherworldly realm. Do I talk about that his design is perfectly simple but has this unnerving just like cleanliness to it? There is a just polite way that he moves that is inhumane. His stiffness in every motion he does, whether that be blocking, attacking people, dashing, everything is so perfectly stiff and just precise and perfect, like he is attempting at every moment to portray himself as human. Or do I talk about that fact? He is not human. This is not a doorman. This is an eldritch god, portraying itself as a doorman to observe humanity. He knows everything about everyone that isn't Warden, and knows all of their darkest secrets. He is telepathic like the patrons. The patrons themselves know who he is, and is surprised to see him engaging in the rituals. He is the pinnacle of eldritch horror. He is... well, okay, maybe he's not the pinnacle of eldritch horror, but he is damn good at it. I love the doorman. He is so perfectly unnerving. Every word he says has this perfect, like, it just sounds like at every word he's trying his damned hardest to maintain a level of humanity. And every now and then he just slips. He slips a little, like when he talks to Victor and says, "Oh, I love observing humanity." No one says that. No human being would say that. Why would you say that? Oh, it's because you're an eldritch god. It's because you're this otherworldly being, not of this world, that is just here as the doorman of the Baroness Hotel. I love the doorman. I cannot express how happy I was to see the video on him do as well as it did. And it only skyrocketed my love for this character even more than it already was high. I went back and forth on this top 3 for a little while, but the doorman consistently shows that he is perfect. His design is fantastic and flawlessly simplistic. His gameplay is unbelievably fun and surprisingly complex, and history and background and character interactions, personality-wise, he is unnervingly excellent. I love the doorman with all of my heart, and he is by far my favourite character in all of Deadlock. And with that said, we come to a close. It has been an absolute thrill doing every single one of these characters and discussing them in depth. I'm sure Valve will screw me over as they have before, and I'm sure they'll release more characters by the end of this month, and I'll have to come back and do them again, and I'm sure many of you would like to see that. In the meantime, you already know what I want you to do. I included a bit at the beginning where I talked about a poll that I've obviously put up for you to vote on what you want to see next, and by all means, please do vote. I'm very intrigued to see what some of you wish to see. That other section, again, is to be used for maybe suggestions you have, say, I don't know, maybe I haven't listed, I've obviously listed League of Legends, Overwatch. The other is for, stuff you may want to see, which may not be listed, which I'm curious to see what some of you suggest. But yeah, this has been a lovely experience. I love Deadlock with all of my heart. I'm sure I will return to this game at a later date, maybe when it is finished development and actually is out. I'd love to talk about some of these characters when they're fully finished again. Because remember, a lot of these videos have just been time capsules. They've been time capsules of how a character was at the time that I made the video, and many of them may change, and I'm sure my opinions on many of them will change. Who knows, maybe in a year or two's time, we'll be sitting here again, talking about these characters all over again. But with that said, I thank you very kindly for those that have stuck with me throughout this entire journey. I cannot be any more thankful for all of the support I have received during this series of videos, and I love all of you. You are all very lovely. I don't know what I'm saying, I'm being really sappy right now. But yeah, I hope you have had a lovely time watching my videos. I'm not going to stop. I'm just going to move on to something else. I'm autistic. I can't stay on one thing for too long. I have to. It's just kind of how I work. I can only spend so much time on one thing before I eventually get bored of it. Not to say I am bored of Deadlock, but diversify the content. I'm here to do character analysis and reviews on whatever the way the wind takes me. And it just so happens that the wind is you lot. So please be kind to me, please. But with all of that said, I hope you have enjoyed the video. Like, comment and subscribe if you feel so inclined. And I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, whether it be a good morning, afternoon,